Welcome to another episode of the True Beast Podcast, brought to you by XDOG.com, where you can find the world's greatest health enhancement harness for dogs, the XDOG Fitness Vest. Exercising your dog has never been easier than with the XDOG Fitness Vest. So if you're looking to invest into your dog's life and enhance it, be sure to check out XDOG.com. Of course, today, it's just me and Trevor, as always, in most cases, right?
Yeah.
So you look like you're tired of shit, man. Like, you know, I don't think a lot of people talk about there's a lot of pros in being a breeder, an ethical breeder, right?
Yeah.
And developing a great solid product, but there's some cons to it.
Yeah. I mean, but just in that itself, I mean, we was talking about value before this episode started, and you know, I put more value in my team because they understand where my value adds. And you're right, man. Breeding is a time-consuming thing. We unfortunately lost a puppy. We lost 3 before that, but we lost one in the process of bringing one home. It faded, and so that was tough for them. Fortunately, I know it's a part of the game. So it was their first loss. We did a video on it. I broke it down, and a lot of things can go wrong.
Yeah.
I literally woke up to a message this morning at 6 a.m. Someone told me they had 4 bulldogs born dead. They were trying to find a solution to basically managing the dog acting crazy. The mom's like anxiety, can't take pictures, can't do anything. So I had to send her a couple tools. It's 2 hours away. I mean, the downside of me putting out information that, you know, I'm here to help is now everybody is calling for help.
Yeah, you know what's really crazy? Speaking of tools, if somebody just created a product, right, for dog people, it was, you know, like basically they can get a bunch of, you know, dog tools in general. Yeah,
and mind you, and every tool specifically is different. You got to understand it is much more difficult to whoop a bulldog, a Shar-Pei, than it is to deal with shepherds.
I think a lot of people don't understand the reason why, like, Frenchies and bulldogs and these exotic type style breed of dogs are so expensive, and the reason behind it is that they're very difficult to produce in a lot of ways.
Breed, all that, the whole thing is time consuming, and the average C-section alone on these dogs is anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000. Especially, and if it's emergency, it's going to start at $4,000.
Yeah.
So you like, and then somebody's like, hey, I'd like to pay you $2 for the dog. You're like, my guy, the C-section alone was $1,000, or, you know, in this case, ours was $1,800, and we only got 2 puppies out of it. No dogs being sold, so it's literally for us. So it's not like we're taking a loss because, you know, hobbyists at it, not a business. We run a business, but it's like it doesn't make or break us.
Yeah.
But it's still an expense.
Yeah, no one really likes to take losses, but I mean, when you really think about it, man, I had done a post where it says, you know, a lot of people make a mistake thinking that you shouldn't have any problems, like problems shouldn't exist. But
that's what makes business great.
Yeah, I mean, but I said, like, how I see it is, like, your problems are always going to be there. You're going to have different style problems, and problems are going to evolve. And I think they're super important. You know, like, they're really big identifiers of where you need to, you know, grow in those areas or evolve in those areas or strengthen those areas. And when those problems arise, you ask yourself a few questions. How'd this happen? How do we prevent it? You know, and, you know, and from there on, you just like, how much did we grow from it? You know, and so I think we talk about that all the time. And, you know, again, prior to jumping on here, we started talking about how come certain people can get in certain rooms while other people have a hard time, and it all has to do with value. I think a lot of people go into relationships, in any type of relationships, with the mindset of what can I get from this relationship instead of what can I give or offer to this relationship.
Yeah. It is important to know basically your place and know that you have to grow. And so if you get into a good relationship, and I mean a good relationship, one that forces you to be a better human being or a business owner, whatever the case may be, you're going to learn through the good and the bad, because nothing ever works, to be clear.
Yeah.
Nothing fucking works. That's just about. You get a brand new car, 3 months from now, that motherfucker could break down. Anything, you can get in a wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen in life. That's both the beauty and the downside of it.
Yeah.
So when you are approaching life itself, embrace the fact that you have to grow, and preparation is key.
Yeah.
So some of us, I know I did at one time, think I was better prepared to deal with opportunities that presented themselves early on. And being in the place I'm in now, I was not ready for those things, man.
No, yeah. I look at him now and I'm like, damn, if I didn't go through those certain trials and tribulations, there's no way I would be prepared. And that's why, you know, I had a couple people had sent me some photos of, an old military vet, you know, who's handcrafting some, weighted vests, right? And they're like, hey, man, it looks similar to your design. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it looks similar, man. But there's a lot of things that, that go along with just developing a product. Old veterinarian's producing leather vests, and his back. He's not the competition. You get what I'm saying? But before, that probably would have fucking offended me. You know what I mean? And I could probably send him a cease and desist and make him change his design and stuff like that. But there's just so many flaws that I look at the vest and on the production sides and the developmental sides, the things that it doesn't have that's similar to the XDOG vest and stuff like that, I'm just like, dude, let the dude make a little coin here and there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that is also very important to people, because when you get into nickel and diamond people, you end up actually losing in the long run. And you have to know that, hey, my product solves more of a massive problem, and it's more marketable. And this is why, again, there's IBM, there's Microsoft, and then there's Apple.
Yeah.
Apple, bar none, is one of the largest companies in the world when we look at the bottom line.
I think, when you look at stuff like Walmart with great value, like a lot of people will see those fruit snacks, right? And then they'll see like a name brand fruit snack, or even cereals, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have Frosted Flakes and Frosted Flakes that are frosted. Sugar Flakes, you know what I mean? It's the same fucking product, but they just rebrand it, you know?
Them great value fruit snacks hit like baseball bats, people. Hey. I'm talking, you can't put them down. I don't know what they put in it. I said, bro, this is a setup.
I'm sure there's a lot of addictive.
I can leave the Welch's alone, but them great values, 50 of them boogers is gone, man. I'm like, look, don't bring them back in here.
Yeah.
I do not bring them back in here.
Yeah, so why do you think again, let's go back to being able to get inside these certain rooms and getting these opportunities. A few years ago, when we first initially lost XDOG Vest, we had a pretty big community of like, I would say, I want to tread the line a little bit, but because the reason why I want to tote the line is because not everybody in that community is a bad individual or seeking things, but there's certain communities in the dog sporting community, in the dog world, that they just want stuff. What you can give me, what you can give me, what you can give me. And then when I would stop giving them things, then they had a problem. You get what I'm saying? But what I was looking at is like, I'm giving, but I'm not getting any value in return, because we're in this era of influencership. So you have to be able to give people things, one, especially when you're launching a product, to get proof of concept and making sure the product works and getting certain endorsements to reach certain different audience and add different eyes to your product. And I was like, well, I can give this individual who has 200 followers and is a complainer and bitching and just always constantly wants free stuff and nagging me, or I can present this person with 100,000 followers who's a pretty educational dog trainer who's educating the community. He's young. Maybe he's not known in the old Facebook community, but he's really renowned in the TikTok and Instagram community, right? Where he's inspiring, or she's inspiring a lot of individuals. We know the numbers. We see the value driven in that. Yeah. And so it got to a point where people are like, well, the only reason why they're endorsing it is because he's giving him things. And it's like, yeah, motherfucker, that's how shit works. I walk into every situation and go, what value can I bring this individual? What can I bring to the table? What can I offer this individual? And I don't think about what I can get in return in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? Because I already know the value of what just getting them to endorse the product, or even showcasing the product, or doing a post brings back to my value and brand. And so I think with you get a lot of opportunities just based off the camera.
And it's being proactive. So where I agree with part of what you're saying, I don't give shit away if I don't have to.
Yeah.
And part of that is I need people to appreciate the value. So if you guys are on TikTok, there's a black kid named Wisdom. And Wisdom does fashion stuff.
Okay.
He's been doing fashion stuff. So like they're like, yo, use these emojis and dress it up. Then Dior sent him something. Then he traveled out the country. And then he's like getting all these opportunities. And there's a girl who people posted who did a Sprite commercial in her dorm room. Then she got picked up.
Yeah.
Then there was a guy that I saved the video this morning who literally jumped on a live and sent, I think it was, let's just say 21 Savage, a message while on the live, like, yo, can I pull up to the show? Guess what he did? Now he's Zeke's personal videographer, photographer, and the NFL reached out to him, and he goes, that's me. Part of your job in providing value is doing the work.
Yeah.
And then understanding why a company would value you and the opportunity to work with you. So even here at XDOG, naturally, I'd already shot a few dog videos with the COO's dog and my dogs in the product, and it's like, damn, that's exceptional. I like that video. Same thing with Fortuna, same thing with David, who owns Blue. I just did something like, yo, I'm gonna take my camera, put a little video of the dog walking around, it blew him away.
Yeah.
Whole year passed, nobody thought to shoot another video of the dog. Nationals has come now, and we fucked that up. We ruined everybody who thinks they can even keep up with this level of work in terms of video. But the value in the work lies in me being proactive and saying we need to shoot every day.
Well, I agree with you about not giving stuff away. You know, being very strategic with it. You know, it helped us that journey, those few years where I realized, like, because here's the thing: a lot of people you think are on your squad are not really on your squad, right?
They just want a handout, right?
Yeah, they want a handout, and as soon as, for example, about 2 years in, we had a big movement, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're developing a cult. They're developing. It's like a cult-like thing." That was like the haters like thing, right?
Yeah.
And then they started putting some pressure on people on Facebook, and a lot of them pussy motherfuckers folded, right? Like they're like, I only use XDOG for a leash walk, or I only use the vest for this. You know, they just fucking folded. They were pussies, right? But then you had some people like, nah, man, I stand behind the product, you know? And so what that inspired is like, we had to ask ourselves this question: okay, how can we wean out the real from the fake, right? Because every day I probably get about 20 messages a day, literally, and that's the low end. Hey man, I can, you know, send me a vest. I can add so much value. Oh, cool story. We got a new program called Team XDOG, and so let's see your numbers. Sign up for Team XDOG, right? We'll give you 25% commission off anybody who uses your code. And if your numbers if we look at your numbers and we see that there's a good return on investment compared to what we're giving you, of course we're going to even take it to the next level. But the numbers don't lie at the end of the day, right? And so you'll get some people, well, no, I mean, I just send me the vest and I'll do a couple of these. No, we're good, you know. Now, there are some people who are like blue checkers that, of course, you know, if we can get one video or one post, it's worth it, you know. But I'm just talking about people in the community who are like, I can add so many eyes to your product. And you go look at the numbers, you're like, well, let's see.
Yeah, not every eye is a good eye, people. And then someone who does not understand products, highlighting products, or people don't trust that person. Part of I think anytime you have someone endorse or influence them, they gotta trust that person and trust their words. So my fear a lot of times in that regard is that I can't associate myself with everything, because a lot of times people take what I say and put it in their back pocket.
I think a lot of influencers mess up, you know, especially like I see like on the fitness side. Like where they're endorsing one brand, right? And then a year later they're endorsing another brand, and then a year later they're endorsing another brand. It's like, well, I thought you love this brand. Now you switched over to that brand, and it just really devalued.
They love the check, man. AKA not the blue check, but the blue check, but the financial check as well.
I think, but do you think that kills their ability to long-term win? Like, because I think a company like, for example, someone like me, who I see as like a bit like a product jumper or brand jumper, I don't know if I really want to fuck with them. You know what I mean? Like,
put it like this: in the hood, we call that perpetrator. So when you wear Nike and Adidas, like, bro, you perpetrate. If you're going to do Adidas, do Adidas.
So you think it devalues their credibility in a lot of ways as far as...
It depends on who's watching, because most people who are there's more viewers than doers, they'll jump wherever the wagon is. They're supporters of what somebody support, because they don't have any original or their own ideas. So I actually don't know. But here's the thing about the blue check people. A lot of times they don't know how to leverage who they are with that following to impact the community, and I think they're learning. But if you have a blue check and you have the ability to impact someone's life, how do you actually turn that into a business? People like Gary Vee, they figured it out. Jason Gorilla, who makes less music and more TikToks, figured it out.
He does.
There are some people who are like, you know what? I'm going to leverage who I am. Marshawn Lynch. And you're like, hey, I don't need to spend my NFL money or my endorsement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
There's a lot of people who miss the opportunity to leverage who they are, turn it into a viable business, and really achieve a level of success. We just talked about, you know, Chameleonaire. He made one song, was a one-hit wonder, but he's one of the richest rappers because of his early investments.
In tech.
And him still investing. So you look at it, he sits down and makes a lot of sense. And it's another example is a 50 Cent. A guy who's got 5-6 shows that he's doing on average, and he comes from the gutters.
Well, another thing that 50 talks about a lot is being able to make money without And basically making money without actually having your hands in it. So, for example, he came out with a season, right, where he wasn't even an actor in it. And they're like, "Whoa, why would you take
yourself?
Yeah, why would you kill yourself, right?"
I don't need to be on the show so I can...
He's like, it's on fucking autopilot. Like, why wouldn't I kill myself off, right?
It does not matter if I'm there or not. I didn't make the show. I don't break the show. The show is itself. It's its own identity.
And he probably made more off that season than if he was actually in as an actor.
Now he got it. Well, he's getting paid.
Well, no, just that. But what I'm saying is like the time to be an actor, the time invested sitting down and doing those scenes and stuff like that. He can build another brand and business,
and that's when you get the 4 or 5 extra shows coming off. You know, doing the show, building a show around Snoop coming soon. You go down the line. This dude, what does he have? Relationship with people. What are those relationships he's doing? He's leveraging their stories and putting them on TV.
Yeah.
And now because of his the eyeballs that he can attract to a TV show, now anybody will basically at least give 50's show a try.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and it's not going to fail. But what did he do? He leveraged who he was in rapping. Don't not rap, but there's more money in this producing stuff. There's more money in investing. There's more money in, you know, like, why'd you buy vitamin water? People, you got to really get an idea. And I was literally talking to, you know, even David and many people. I mean, this fucking phone stays ready. and 9 out of 10 times, where people lack opportunities, understanding their identity.
Yeah.
Nike's Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
And Adidas is Adidas. And here at XDOG, you know, you want to live, and you want to basically give a dog an opportunity to live its healthiest, happiest life. Give it a task, give it a job, give it, you know, exercise. Very clear about what you do here.
Yeah.
Identity is everything, and that's where you build things off of. There's a reason why people scale Grant Cardone, Gary Vee's information. We were talking about Tony Robinson before this. Those guys 10, 15, 20 years ago, when Gary puts up those 10 years ago when he was like predicting shit that's happening now, what changed? Only the quality of you know, camera.
Yeah.
But the information, the energy that he had, the clarity that he was speaking about, his beliefs, nothing fucking changed.
I think what Gary does really well, man, is he's kind of like the Snoop Dogg, right? Like Snoop still is relevant, but Gary's so relevant to the young people.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? Like,
I don't think it's crazy. I think you have to look at the market and the trends, and part of the trend is the young people, aka the millennials, they have the highest buying power.
Well, and here's the thing,
and
too.
Influential power, too.
You know, I think you hit the nail on it, because I started thinking about this morning. I was like, you got to be able and I think Gary does this very well. I think you have to be able to understand how culture is pivoting and how everything is moving in a direction. You got to think ahead. So, for example, I'm looking at the fitness community, right? It's in 10 years, I see it's going to grow 10 times. And the reason why I know that is because some of my mentors who have billion-dollar companies in the supplement industry, and they're banking on it, and they talk about it all the time because COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
2 years ago, people go, oh shit, we got to fucking focus on our health. We know that if you're healthier, you're going to be less at risk of falling off, right?
Yeah.
Well, I start thinking, I go, well, fitness is becoming, like, you look on TikTok, Instagram, everybody and their mom is a damn fitness fucking coach, right? Like, right? It's like a big...
They call it Fit Talk.
Fit Talk, right? Exactly. And so I'm like, every time I look at one of those Fit Talkers, every time I look on their page, guess what they have? A fucking dog. And so you know it's going to translate because they're going, oh, I'm becoming more consciously aware of what I'm putting in my body, and then I'm also understanding the climate of the industry changing in the pet industry, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of companies now are making freeze-dried foods or dehydrated treats, and they're going to more of the healthy alternative, right?
Absolutely.
They're starting to make that pivot. Well, we're already ahead of the game here at XDOG. I'm like, I want to jump and be the pioneer of dog fitness ahead of everybody, you know, and my goal is still to make the XDOG vest as common as a leash and collar, but to be able to understand how that works. And I think a lot of people, especially in some of these dog communities, like the bitter people and the angry people and the haters or whatever you want to fucking call them or identify them, the people are just pissed off. I think they're just upset a lot. You guys can't take a lot of that stuff personal because they're pretty bitter. They probably went all in on a fucking degree. And they were thinking they were promised a certain thing. They get this degree. They're expecting this crazy lavish lifestyle, and then they see an individual who drops out of school, fucking just murdering them. You know, it's got to be a little irritating, and I don't take it personal anymore. So I look at it as like they're probably just mad because you know how many people I have degrees in agriculture and animal science and veterinary who try to fucking clown me, and then I sit there and we'll have a conversation, and I just run circles around them, and it's just like. I'm so balls deep in dog fitness, dog nutrition, and just being able to slow down the aging processes of a living cell in the dogs and the benefits behind it. I'm studying it every day, where I feel a lot of people, they quit learning.
Yeah.
They just don't want to learn anymore. And
and there's value in education, people, but what's education without application?
Yeah.
It's nothing realistically.
And so, I took another pivot too by taking some advice from you. It's like, a lot of my videos now are all educational, and a lot, it's just let me provide value. What kind of value?
And you know what's crazy, people? I come in and I kind of point people in the right direction. It's not crazy because I appreciate you acknowledging that, but even more importantly, you see the numbers start to stay really consistent and grow a lot faster because, as I've repeated to you, your value is what you know.
Yeah.
And the work you're putting into being invested in this business. And this business, it won't make or break you, but it makes a difference in someone else's life.
And it's kind of crazy too, it also made me realize, because I've had a lot of people try to talk me out of helping other people create their own business in the same lanes. You know what I mean? And I was like, once I took that pivot, I'm like, man, I can help a couple other people launch a supplement company. I can help other people come out with non-consumable good. Maybe it's like leashes, collars, harnesses, and stuff. I know how to develop the products and stuff. They're like, well, why would you do that? Because I'm trying to develop an ecosystem of more people like me, because we work together. You know what I mean?
Think of him being a source, and this is what we talked about too. If he's the person, one of the hardest things in business is both distribution and then actually going through the process and taking the L's he's already taken for sourcing the products at a high level. So there are companies that white label things. This is how some people get going, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just need a company to package a wipe or a food or supplements and bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then they go out and promote the fuck out of it and make a good living or make some good money per se for a little bit of time. When you become the source, like a Walmart, you think distribution.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that, and a few years later they bank on it, right? And boom, and it's like a big company like Amazon goes, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You guys are killing it. Well, we know the manufacturer too, so let's just get it at a better price and just wean you out.
Yeah, or buy you.
Yeah.
Or buy you, and that's the power in all the things that you've learned through good and bad experiences. Yeah. You can help them not cut a corner, but educate them, which gives them opportunity. And I always think of 3 different ways people get paid. I met a guy who, this motherfucker, he knew how to get all of your money and really make it worth his time and money. And I go, damn, bro, no wonder you was in a 4-hour deposition on 3 words. They're tired of fucking with you.
Yeah.
But the fact is from this standpoint, imagine, and this is the first time he's hearing this, to be clear. Imagine if you had to pay Stan to mentor, to be, under his lineage or his workflow. Then you had to pay him on top of that to have access to the sourcing of his products. Then you own, like Master P did back in the day. Why is Master P still relevant to this day? Because he didn't just sell a record. He owned the record company, or he owned his record company. He owned the people who made the CDs, the labels, the bags. He has a percentage in every little thing that keeps money flowing in his pocket. One of the first black people realistically owned the Forbes fucking magazine back in the day because of his investment in real estate and other things. But he learned very quickly and understood business. And Sony would never do that deal again with somebody else. That he negotiated.
Yeah.
And he guaranteed something and he delivered. But all the sourcing that you can do gives people power to live a little bit better. And having a distribution channel, which makes, like, Champs don't make shoes, but they sell Nike, Adidas, and whoever else wants to come in there.
Yep.
Being a hub is how you help grow businesses. And it takes 8 to 12 times for wealth to build itself in a community. And most of us in the dog space don't even know where to go and where to get going. And it's not as easy as you think it is, I assure you.
Oh, it's hard. Like, what we're doing now, like, the invoice that I'm about to send over today, as far as paying for an invoice or wire for some inventory, I was like, holy shit, dude, this is a lot bigger than, like, I'm spending more right now than I made in my fucking first 10 years of the company. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? But then I go, damn, in about 3 more years, it's going to be 10 times this. Like, I want to bring in a fleet. I don't want to bring in a container or 2. I want to bring in a fucking fleet of containers.
And have people that are supporting the business and their brands and building their brands. And guess what? Even, like Amazon, they'll take that little 5%.
Yeah.
That little 5% to add up when somebody's doing $5 million.
Dog, they nickel and dime. They're the greatest nickel and dime at charging fees. They make phone companies look like shit, dude. Like a welfare case.
There you go.
You'd be like, Every single thing?
And that's where he thrives, though. He thrives in making sense of the things that don't make sense to people.
It's so tiny, too, some of these things, man. But then you go, damn, they got 70 million people on this platform.
Yeah. And then what's the value of a customer? Is it the $2 or is it that $2 every fucking week? Is it $2 every 72 hours? Is it the $2 every fucking month?
Yeah.
All of that shit adds up, because I know if you get on there, bro, you didn't click and bought 3 or 4 things easily.
Yeah, and already right now, I'm trying to position myself for 2023. My relationships with all my manufacturers, from my food manufacturers to tree manufacturers, the supplement manufacturers to my non-consumable manufacturers, they're all solid. But then also my funding, my capital team, the team that I'm putting together as far as, developing my line of credit, where I remember I used to get I'd be happy to get a $20,000 line of credit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I want a $20 million line of credit.
There you go.
You
want those kind of problems to solve, because supply and demand is one thing, but we want the demand to be high so we can keep supplying your needs.
Yeah.
And that's, again, puts them in position to teach you guys how to do business. There's so many avenues in helping people help themselves that he could walk down because of his experience that I don't think you could get it from too many other places, man.
And there's a value exchange in that. It took a long time to become very valuable to those manufacturers. I bring a lot of value to them, but they also bring a lot of value to me.
Very much so.
And so it ends up working out. It's a healthy relationship. Pay them back on time. They give you these net. They give you lines of credit. These net 30s, net 60s, net 90s. My reputation of paying my invoices on time is impeccable. Yes, and so now it didn't start out that way.
It always starts a little bit rough because you've got great expectations, right?
Yeah.
And then you might not be prepared for what the business world's going to do to you.
So let's go back to value, right? If you were an individual, you're a young guy, right, or a young girl, and you just a young person. Fuck it, just a young person, a young individual. I don't want to offend anybody in a way.
It is what
You're just a young individual who's new into business, right? You say, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to start a business. I have this great idea. What would be a couple things you would, as far as giving them a tip on how to approach that?
Confidence is one of the most consistent things that I've seen almost 100% of people lack. So if I was going to tell you before you do anything, embrace the fact that you have to be confident in what you're doing and what you're not doing, and confident in the fact that you don't know.
Yeah.
And when you don't know, there are more people who are willing to help you. I walked out of a business that paid me $100 an hour with 401k option when I was 23 years old, and I did everything I could to ruin this opportunity, to be clear. But my value was so high. I mean, they said, write us a proposal. I said, man, I don't want to write no proposal. I'm talking just like this, very ignorant. And they said, Trevor, it's okay. Just tell us what it'll cost and we'll figure out all the details. Well, I pitched them $144,000 in about 90 days, what it would cost. And they said, well, let's pay you $200,000 for the year. And 401k options. So I remember asking a business associate, I said, is this a good deal? He said, are you fucking kidding me? He said, nobody gets those kind of deals with no degrees and no certifications, and you just got them bouncing at a club? Yeah. How'd you even get in this place? Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is somebody who's invested their life into something. But he was a mentor of mine. So confidence, and me being confident and being honest, that's the one thing I think everyone's always appreciated, and it's the consistent thing that I see. So if you're going to open up or start anything, be confident in the fact that you don't know shit and that you have a lot to learn. Second thing is, you got to believe in whatever it is you're doing, like your life depends on it. Like if you need air, literally. Like you got to wake up, go to sleep, miss sleep, think about it, be doing it every day. Literally, a business does its business every day. There's probably no day, if you are a TV watcher, that you don't see a Nike commercial. And they're a $1 billion company. I mean, they billions of dollars a company, but they always are marketing, and it always feels new. Very few times, like even the Jeter commercial, that's one of my favorite ones there, and they pat him, they tip, and they hats and stuff. That thing only played for maybe a week or two, because we got to move on. There's so many opportunities for us to highlight athletes, their stories, and experiences that people are having while going to these games.
Yeah.
So you got to stay fresh and really engulfed / engaged with your brand through working it every day. And if it's not something that you want to do every day, then it's not going to be a viable business.
And I think right there goes hand in hand where you say confidence, right? And then believing in your product, which means you have to fucking study it and know it and be obsessed. I constantly try to beat this down into our staff here. It's just like, how often are you studying the products? Because I study the ingredients every single day. I'm writing something new every single day. I'm diving deeper every single day. Like, I really got intimate with the vest this past couple months. Really intimate, where I sat down and I really started studying and really pivoting on the health benefits outside of building muscle, improving performance, speed, vertical distance, all that shit. Like, cool, we've already proven that, but I want to know, how does it affect the joints and the longevity of the joints? How does it affect the aging process of your dog? How does it affect the cardiovascular?
Listen, people, sometimes our topics get a little bit longer. We don't want to cut it just at 30. If we're really rolling, we keep this thing going. Therefore, at the end of our YouTube, you will see, hey, jump on the links listed below. Follow us on Spotify,
Sure.
Apple,
Sure.
Where else? Google,
Wherever else you guys listen us at.
Yeah, wherever we're listed at, and continue to follow and listen to the show, whatever we're talking about. Hopefully you enjoy the topics. Stay tuned. Appreciate you guys' support.
Yeah, and as always, man, leave us a comment, subscribe, share. In the comments or in the reviews, also, leave us some topics that you would like us to discuss. We don't hold back. So if you want us to talk about something, be sure to leave it there. So as always,
Team XDOG strong.